everybody. Welcome back to the Glory Glory Man United podcast. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Quinn. And join me today to discuss a surprising result and performance at Anfield is Brushy. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you, Carl. Yeah, like you say, pleasantly surprised.
I really thought this show was going to be therapy after another hammering, another drilling at Anfield, but turned out
Especially
very
after Newcastle.
it's turned out very different. It seems under Amarim we save our best performances for our bitterest rivals,
Hmm.
in that we've now beaten Man City away and drew 2-2 away at Anfield, and Ahmad scoring in both games, which is bound to see. But yeah, I thought United were absolutely full value for the draw, and of course could have won the game at the end. Only
Mm.
a centre forward decided to pass it to a centre back when in a shooting position, and the ball just bobbled in front of Maguire, and then he shinned it over the bar. Unfortunately, what an afternoon it would have been if Maguire had scored there, Brush.
Oh, absolute scenes. It would have been incredible. I think, yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me. The fact that we were, expecting the worst going into this and would have taken a draw all day. And then to come away a tad disappointed that we didn't get all three really goes to show what today was all about. Yeah, it was an incredible performance. The levels from the players were very high. I liked that, what they've worked on. I just hope it continues. I hope results like this are a building block for what's to come because it was starting to turn very toxic, wasn't it? Because we spoke behind the scenes after the Newcastle game, and you were just like, "Oh, we just don't really know where the next 3 points are coming from."
Yeah, we were expecting something similar to the 7-0 a couple of seasons ago at Anfield, but it was anything but. It was like last season's 0-0 at Anfield, only better because we were actually a threat going
Yeah,
forward.
listen, I woke up this morning, I saw the weather warnings and the snow up north, and I thought, you know what, that might be the best case scenario. Today is just postponed, and we can forget all about it. Maybe have a good transfer window and then approach this later on. But yeah, they all understood the assignment and they turned up today, and that's all we ask. If you perform like that for us, I don't think that even the results matter too much, to be honest. It's just about showing that level of desire on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely, and the all of them absolutely give 100% from minute one to
Hmm.
minute 97, as it turned out, and you want to see them do that in every game. And our next league match is against the team rock bottom of the table. We've just lost 5-0 to Brentford at Old Trafford. We should be going on and winning that game now. And I feel confident that we're going to win that game now, given the performance that we produced today. But yeah, just watching even the effort of Bruno Fernandes today, the way he chasing back, and as if he was almost an extra forward. He was an extra midfielder. He was an extra
Hmm.
defender. He was everywhere. You want to
He
see
was
him.
everywhere today. He was everywhere today, and you think, you know what, this is the performance worthy of a captain.
Yeah, you want. It's great to see players try that hard at Anfield, but I want to see him play like that against Southampton at home whenever we're expected
Yep.
to win as well.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I still cannot believe that we performed that way and got the result against the best team in the league this season, and it
Hmm.
just shows you that Liverpool, they're not as good as they think they are when you actually get at them. They're I mean, there were panic stations at certain points in the game from Liverpool's backline. Just booting the ball out for a corner when they were under pressure. Uh,
Definitely, definitely. And we were quite unfortunate to go in 0-0 at half time. I thought we could have had one or two goals in that first half.
yeah, I think we absolutely should have. Hoyland was guilty of missing the
Hoyland,
chance,
oh yeah.
and somehow Ahmad headed the ball outwards
Hmm.
rather than inwards towards the goal whenever Dallo played that
Hmm.
cross across the goal. But yeah, Hoyland as a centre forward, disappointing again from him. And yeah, we'll get onto it a bit later, but we really, really need to sign a centre forward. Given how well we played today, if we had a real proper wing back and a centre
Yep.
forward, think of how good we could actually be. Um,
Definitely, definitely. If we had somebody who could finish an out and out wing back, maybe a 10 would be nice as well.
Yeah, there's so many good individual
Yep.
performances today, though, which we will get into. But one of the most pleasing aspects of today's game is the fact that after going 1-0 up, they got back to one each, and then they went 2-1 up. And usually that means a collapse for Man United and Liverpool or City or Arsenal, whoever going to win quite comfortably. But we fought back again, got back to two each, and nearly won the game. So the fact that we fought back after a setback and nearly won the game, that's really pleasing, because that's very different to what we used to, isn't it, Brush?
Absolutely. And then also the level of the performance as well coming out in the second half. It was lovely to see that whatever was discussed at halftime had an effect. It's not often that we come out, on the forefront, on the attack, and to take the lead as well was brilliant. Um, it was quite annoying actually, the goals that we conceded. I thought they were both avoidable, if I'm being honest. So that is an element that we're going to have to try and cut out, the needlessly conceded. Um, the gap per goal, obviously, it was a nice finish on that, but then should he have been allowed to get the shot off in the first place? I think Delit and Ugarte had a bit of a mare there to let him in. Against Anana, you already know what's coming. It's a bit harsh to say anything about to Anana there, though, because the ferocity of the shot. I don't think there's too much he could have done. It's just looks silly because it's kind of straight at him. And then the second one, I mean, yeah, if it was down the other end, I would have been screaming penalty as well all day long. Yeah, Delit, not his best day today.
No, he was one of the more disappointing performers on the day, and
Yeah.
obviously had a part to play in both Liverpool goals, I'm
Hmm.
afraid. But it was that Liverpool fans were screaming for the penalty before we'd seen a replay of it. But it was that guilty look on the Lec's face where he give it away.
Hmm.
He's not a very good actor, is he?
No, no.
And then yeah, as soon as the referee goes to the screen, then you kind of know what's coming. Then
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. To be fair, even the first time round, I thought it was a pen. To be honest, I know some United fans are screaming, "Oh, it's never a pen," but yeah, I didn't even need the replay. Like when I first saw it, I was like, "Yeah." Had that happened at the other end, I would have been screaming pen.
quick observation of the penalty itself, though.
Mm,
Onana dives and goes at it with two hands and gets a touch on it, and it goes
mm,
in. I felt he could have done better there, and a goalkeeper like De Gea, if he dived the right way, might have saved that. I don't know. I don't think he should be going at it with two hands. You should be going for a penalty with one hand. Is
yeah.
left in this occasion. So yeah, I wouldn't say that he fumbled it, but
Hmm.
for me, I know it might seem harsh, but if a keeper gets a touch on a penalty, he should keep it out, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. If you get a strong hand to it, it should stay out in theory. But yeah, yeah, interesting that he went for both instead of one.
Yeah, but at that point, I thought Liverpool would win 3-1 or 4-1 here, because we've seen
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah, because I thought then the momentum had shifted and then we'd let it go. Um, but yeah, but then not only the equalizer, but then I thought Onana did come in clutch with one or two of the saves towards the end there. Um, Things that you expect him to do, but it's still nice when it's done. At the near post, he wasn't caught out, and then the shot from Diogo Jota, it was kind of straight at him, but you still have to be alert.
Should Darwin Nunes have seen a red card for that attack on Delict, where he led with the elbow? I've been seeing red cards given for that. Maybe because he's playing for Liverpool at Anfield that
Mm.
it wasn't given, but that guy's a lunatic. Uh,
It's that South American fire, isn't it? I'll tell you what, though, I was very impressed with the young man Lenny Euro, the way he slid in.
oh
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
quality tackle that.
And
Love to
Liverpool
see a
fans
bit
were
of that.
screaming for a penalty there as well. Fuck
Yeah,
off.
no, it was such a clean challenge, and to do that at 19, in that atmosphere as well, that gives me a lot of hope. That it's very
Yeah, so
pleasing.
it turned out to be important that he came on for Delict,
Definitely.
because if Delict was playing there instead of Yarrow, that might have been another goal for Liverpool, and that was the end of the game. So yeah,
Yep.
yeah, he's got pace, and he's probably the only defender that has pace, Lenny Yarrow, and
Hmm.
he can make those last ditch challenges like Wan Bissaka. It was almost like a Wan Bissaka tackle, wasn't it? Really, I've
Yeah,
seen him
yeah,
do
yeah.
that before. Yeah,
Yeah, so
um,
that's one of the positions that's it's quite promising. Out of the two that we've seen this season, I
what,
think Mazraoui and him are the ones I like best
oh,
at right
Mazraoui.
centre back.
What about Mazraoui? On a few occasions today, a bit of skills to take out a few
Yeah.
Liverpool players. He has such great feet, and
Hmm.
he when he shows that bit of magic, it can just take about two or three players out of the game. and yeah, just brilliant. Uh,
Ugarte as well today. I mean, I talk about the Gakpo goal and the part he played in that, but apart from that, I thought he was excellent today.
yeah, I think that's one of his best United games to date,
Yeah,
and he actually played a really good ball to Xerxes for what should have
yeah,
been
yeah,
the winning goal at the
and
end as
actually
well.
covered a lot of area as well today.
Yeah, he was a real. He is starting to look like the DM that we wanted, and
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, and because yeah, I've always said that that's not really part of his game, but yeah, he channeled his inner N'Golo
an-
today.
another thing about him was that somebody played like a really poor ball to him. It was like
Hmm.
drilled at him, but he made it look good because he just took it down on his chest and
Yeah,
controlled it. Yeah, he's starting to look really confident now. He has so many
yep.
great individual performances. Donny here says Fernandez excellent, but great to see Ugarte and Menu get their flowers and show absolute grit and determination in the field. Yeah, I thought Manu was quite
Mm.
unlucky to be substituted. He was playing some lovely stuff as well.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely. But sometimes you have to make these tactical tweaks. I think Ruben saw an opportunity down that left hand side, to add a bit of pace, especially with Trent there. I thought Trent was out of sorts, to be fair. So I think it was more of a tactical decision just to try and get at them. And obviously, he got the assist in the end for to make it 2-2.
yeah, it turned out to be the right decision. But in that moment when he made the sub, I was slightly worried that we're going to be a bit short in the centre of the park against this Liverpool team. But yeah, Fernandez played really well when he was playing as a 10 and when he was playing in a deeper role, and he excelled in both, except for the moment where I think somebody just went past him like he wasn't there in the left back area. About maybe about 10 minutes to go in the game. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, Bruno was everywhere, and he was his usual self, wasn't he? As well, always in the referee's face, and I'm I'm not a great fan of that, but he's not going to change. You know, um, yeah, it was a captain's performance today, and we need to see more of that.
Definitely, definitely. So it's nice to know that he's got it in his locker. I like what he was saying after the game as well in the interview about wanting better and not being happy with the draw, and that's great to hear.
Yeah, do you know another thing that I just remembered is that do you remember Van Dijk had the header to win the game on a straight down the
Hmm.
throat of Onana? Onana didn't hold on to it and play for the draw. He went running out to the edge of
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
penalty area to pick
yeah.
someone out, and he threw it
Even
out.
late on, they didn't try to just contain and see the game out. They were going for it, and you could tell it was on a knife edge, really, going into extra time. Like you felt like there's another goal in this, and it could have gone either way. To be fair.
Yeah, yeah, we're just so close to winning the game at the end there. Harry would have been a legend had he scored that at the end there. But for me, Xerxes has to take on the shot. Come on, you've been signed as a centre
You
forward.
know what? I actually thought he made the right decision in squaring it. Obviously, the quality of the pass could have been better, and to anyone, bar bloody Big Baz. I actually thought
Yeah,
Maguire did all right today, but
and
yeah, that's not where you want to see him. Um,
yeah,
and at first, I was like, oh, I was gutted. And then on the replay, you know what? It's very hard to control and to hit that and to keep it down first time, especially with the ball bobbling as well. So it's very unfortunate. What scenes it would have been though had that hit the back of the net. Oh,
yeah, it bubbled in front of him and then it hit his shin.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
And you
actually,
know what? I absolutely would have loved it as well if it was him, just because of everything he's gone through.
yeah, I mean, he probably would have jumped into the away end and
Yeah, yeah,
crowd surfed,
yeah,
for
yeah.
about
I mean, it
10 minutes.
would have been deserved if he did it today. Do you remember the old to the the hand to the ear celebration for England that
Yeah,
people were having a go at him about? Well, today that would have been justified had he done that.
yeah. Today wasn't a friendly against Albania. This was the
No,
time
yeah,
to do
that's
it.
what I mean. That's what I mean. Today would have been the time for that. But yeah, unfortunate. But yeah, in terms of Maguire, like you know how I feel about Maguire. I've spoken about it a lot on this channel. I've never been his biggest fan. Criticized him a lot, but this season and last, I've not had too many issues with him. Away from the pressures of the armband, we're seeing what he's about, and he's a player that can contribute. And obviously, this week we've heard as well that they have extended the contract by a year.
Yeah, so he'll be staying for another year. But the only issue is that 190 grand a week. I'm not. a fan of that. Um,
Yeah, not a fan of that, but I think it was a situation where had we tried to negotiate that down, you probably would have had to give him an additional year, and I don't think they want to keep him for longer. So this, I'm not too mad at it. It just lets me know that he's here for the time being, but in the future they do want to keep their options open by way of moving on.
yeah, the n- I understand the situation because Lindelof and Evans are going to be released, and we don't
Yeah,
have the money to be buying multiple centre halves in the summer.
exactly. And we need at least one coming in. But then there's so many other things to do as well. That yeah, I can understand totally why they would want him as a rotational option for another year at least.
Yeah, it makes sense from that point of view. But
Yep.
yeah, Xerxes. Yeah, first of all, I think a forward should not be passing to a defender in the 97th minute to win the
I mean,
game.
if you're a
And
competent
secondly,
striker who has that prolific
yeah,
goal scoring record, I would agree with you. But this self-proclaimed 9.5, I'm not surprised that he looks for the pass.
I'm not surprised, but if we're
Yeah.
if we're paying money for a centre forward,
Listen,
we
if we
expect
had an
more.
absolute killer up front, I would agree with you. Yes, absolutely, he should have just taken the shot. That's what I'd expect from a clinical finisher. But he's not that, unfortunately. But this does highlight what we're missing. So I'm hoping that the powers that be are taking note of things like this.
Yeah, and the pass wasn't good as you said. Eh, he kind of chipped it across goal and it bounced up in front of Maguire. Just yeah, um, they weren't the. I suppose both of them were not the people you wanted in that situation.
Hmm.
I suppose what you would have wanted ideally would have been Bruno playing the ball to Ahmad or something. I
Yeah,
think. I
and
wouldn't
this
say.
is also a concern, Carl. The fact that we're not even talking about other strikers. This is what we're talking about: the wide men and Bruno and that. So yeah, we really need a striker, don't we? We need someone
Oh, desperately, desperately. Yeah.
desperately.
Um, and once again, how many times has it happened in the last 30 years that when we get a result at Anfield, a defender scores? And again,
Yeah, how many times in the past has it been like a Rio Ferdinand or John O'Shea? You know, it happens.
and Gary Pallister,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
Rafael da Silva,
yes,
um,
yes,
and again today with Martinez and nearly Maguire goes too, nearly two defenders
yep,
scoring. But
yep.
yeah, um, yeah, of course, strikers have scored for us as well in this fixture with Rooney and Forlan, of course,
Hmm.
come to mind. But yeah, usually defenders are the heroes at Anfield for United.
Definitely. Yeah.
Um, so what a finish it was by Martinez, by the way, in off the underside of the
Hmm.
crossbar, and then he just leathered it, didn't he?
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. It was a lovely move as well, and the way it opened up, and yeah, just I'll tell you what, the way it hit the net, it gave me flashbacks of the goal that Giggsy scored against Seaman in the FA Cup semi-final replay back in '99.
I
It was
know,
one of those.
I know. On that occasion, he beat half the Arsenal team
Well,
before
yeah,
he got.
yeah, not quite that in terms of the build-up, but the finish reminded me of that. The way it just hit that part of the net. There's not much a goalkeeper can do, to be honest.
Yeah, and Bruno Fernandez. Who played the ball to Martinez? I can't remember now. For that first goal, um, was it Bruno?
I
Um,
can't actually remember.
so the second United goal, the assist was Garnacho. Um, I know, according to Sky Sports, Garnacho has not been credited with the assist. That might be
Oh,
because it came off a
okay.
defender before it made
Yeah.
its way to Ahmad.
Yeah, it was Bruno. It was Bruno that played the ball in
Yeah, so Bruno.
to
Yeah,
Martinez.
no good Bruno performance is complete without an assist. Um,
Yeah. At least he
um,
can't be accused of stat padding, eh? At least the returns match the performance today.
yeah, definitely. And I think maybe the suspension against Newcastle maybe
Yeah.
helped him have
Hmm.
more energy today, and he looked really up for it. And
Yeah, perhaps, perhaps. And this is the
Ugarte as
thing.
well, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
And another thing we really have to mention, and I think this might have been crucial, is that United look so organised and well coached today. And is
Hmm.
that because they had 7 days on the training pitch for the first time under Amorim?
Yeah, I
Would
think so. I think so. I think it's a mixture of having players, fully fit and yeah, the time. Because that's the thing. Like since he's come in, like it's just been non-stop. It's been relentless. He's not really had time, to just focus with these group of players for any prolonged period. So yeah, that's absolutely played a key part in this.
definitely. And Danny's joining us, and he's in the comments, and Joe is joining us as well. And
Big up, guys.
yeah, and lots of positivity among United families today, even though it was only a draw, because it's exceeded the expectations of all of us.
No,
Um,
absolutely. And the fact that, like I say, the fact that we could have won and probably should have, that gives
yeah,
us a lot of confidence going forward. We just hope that this is a building block.
and I thought we were, we deserved the draw, and nobody could say that we didn't deserve to win if we did win it. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
how you
And
felt about it.
Liverpool, I think, have only drawn like 4 games this season. So yeah, not too many take points of them at all.
You look at the statistics, and the two teams are not miles apart. So
Hmm.
we had 48% possession away from home at Anfield, which is unheard
That's
of.
quite high at Anfield.
Yeah. They had 19 shots, we had 13. They had six on target, we had four. They had 420 passes, and we had 380.
Mm,
Clear cut chances, Liverpool three, us two. We had nine corners, and they had six, so more corners for us there. We had eight block shots, they had five block shots. Um, yeah, Onana made four saves, and Allison made two. Um, yeah, so it's a fairly even enough game. So if we had won the game at the end, I don't think anybody could have complained. It's really good that Liverpool fans were disappointed with that result, because they
hmm.
probably expected to win comfortably at the start of the day and wanted to rubber.
Definitely, especially after after what happened at Old Trafford earlier in the week uh, against Newcastle. They probably thought as well that um, it'll be a walk in the park.
So again, Ahmad coming up with the goods in a big game and scoring against Liverpool again, and uh, Garnacho with great wing play to assist him.
Yeah.
Left foot cross did come off a defender's leg and fell into the path of Ahmad. And
Hmm.
another one of those soft finishes, or scuffed if you're being harsh, but
Hmm.
they all count. And sometimes,
Listen, as long as they find the back of the net, Carl, I'm
yeah,
not
uh,
complaining, mate.
do I've heard this said many times over the years, that a scuffed finish can actually put the goalkeeper off, because
Yeah.
he's not anticipating
Hmm.
that, and it can fool the goalkeeper, and it did so again. I thought the scuffed effort from Ahmad against City, that Variol should have cleared that off the line, but he didn't. He tried
Hmm.
to backheel it and ended up doing
Yeah.
nothing in the end, just falling into the net. But yeah, Ahmad is the man with the minus touch in these big games, and hopefully he can do it again in the FA Cup against Arsenal, which suddenly we'll get on to it.
Does yeah? Suddenly, it's not all doom and gloom, is it? It's it's
No,
amazing what one game could do to you.
yeah,
Like it could literally just just change your whole perspective on things. Because yeah, had we done a pod straight after Newcastle, oh, it would have been a very different atmosphere.
yeah. I just blocked that out now. I don't even want to talk about that
Yeah,
game
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, three reasons why I'm more optimistic about the Arsenal game is
Hmm.
that, one, how we played today away against the best team in the league. Two, Arsenal drew with Brighton.
Yep.
And three, Saka is injured.
Yes,
So there are reasons to be optimistic for that FA Cup. We're the defending champions of the FA Cup, so should be going there with
definitely,
confidence and winning the game.
definitely.
Um, yeah, so I'm actually today. I was dreading the game. I think Newcastle think I was dreading the game, but I won't feel that way next week now. I'm actually going to be looking forward to the upcoming games in
Yeah.
January. I feel as if it's possible that we could at least get a replay against Arsenal, and I feel that Southampton, our next league game, I'm confident that we'll win that now, especially given how bad they are.
I tell you, what, I absolutely, absolutely don't want to replay. With our schedule, there's already too many games as it is. But I just, if they
Oh no,
play
wait,
like
wait,
they
wait,
did
wait.
today,
Is there
I'll be
replays? I don't
happy.
think there is replays anymore, is
Is
there?
there replays? Have they got rid of it? Haven't they?
Well,
I
they
hope
change
they
it
have.
every year. I have no clue
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
But like the actual rules of the game,
yeah,
they change them every year. I have no clue
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going
I
on.
hope that's not a thing because yeah, the last thing we need is an additional fixture. But yeah, honestly, if the boys play like we did today, I won't have too many
But
complaints really.
I remember an announcement last year that replays were being scrapped, and there was a lot
Mm,
of anger about it
mm.
because they were saying it was going to the lower league teams were going to be
Affect
done out
the
of.
smaller clubs, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what the solution is to be honest, but maybe some kind of parachute payments or something to offset that. But yeah, I'm not in favor of more games. I think there's already far too many games
no,
as it is, and at some point we have to consider the health of the players.
yeah,
Even this new revamp to to Europe, like usually we'd be done by now, but there's two additional games in the group stage now.
hmm that's why I wasn't that disappointed to lose to Tottenham in the League Cup because I didn't
Yeah,
want those 2 games. That's the last thing we needed in January was another 2 games. Um,
absolutely.
so Danny here confirms that replays have been scrapped from the season onwards. That's what I
Brilliant.
thought.
That's good.
So let me rephrase it. I'm confident that we can go to Arsenal and at least get to a penalty shootout, given how we
Mm.
played today. Um, yeah, and Southampton at home, they lost 5-0 at home to Brentford yesterday. They're rock bottom of the table. They're definitely
Yeah.
going to go down. United have to beat them at Old Trafford in order
Oh,
to
there's absolutely no excuses, none whatsoever to drop points at Southampton. By far the worst team in the league. They've only won one game this season. They've been shipping goals for fun as well. They've shipped 44 and scored 12. So if we mess that up, then we're going to be criticizing them rightly. But yeah, we should really be looking to get all three there.
yeah, and I tell you what about today. I think Amorim needed that result too,
Hmm.
for several reasons. One being that we can't keep losing games, even if it's not your squad. You just can't
Yeah,
keep losing, and eventually
absolutely.
he'll come under pressure. And we've got like a volatile co-owner who's not afraid to
Hmm.
get rid of people 5 months after hiring them.
Yeah.
So that was a concern for me. And also to get the players to buy into his system and his way of playing, you need to be winning
That for
games.
me is the key thing, Carl. I think that's yeah, that's the main thing. The fact that he actually has proof now that what he's trying to do is working, and that these players can listen to him, can take instruction. So that will definitely give him a boost as well going forward. Obviously, without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to be helped with a round of recruitment as well, because there is a limit to how far you can take this without players with the profile that fit what you're trying to do. But yeah, it's a good sign.
Definitely. And I want to give credit where credit's due because I've been a big critic of Dallo in this show, but I felt he had a
Mm.
good game today, especially
Hmm.
going forward. Um, he looked more like a wing back today. He was causing a lot of problems for Alexander Arnold,
Hmm.
albeit he is a very poor defender, and he
Yes.
proved it again today. So yeah, it definitely was a marked improvement from Dallo today, wasn't it, down that side?
Yeah, definitely. I still stand by it though. Ultimately, I would like to see him as a rotational option. I think it's when we see players like him week in, week out that we have so much critique for them. But yeah, anyone's capable of putting in these performances on occasion, and it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, not still not convinced by him long term,
Yeah.
but when no matter how much I'm not a fan of a player and how critical
Hmm.
I am as a player, whenever they have a good game, I will always acknowledge it.
Praise them. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And Dallo was one of our better performers today, that's
Hmm.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Alexander Arnold made him look like a winger. That's how bad he is at defending.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I was actually disappointed to see Connor Bradley come on for Trent because that was
Mm.
where we were creating most of our
That was
chances down
yeah,
that
yeah,
side. Yeah,
because he had a poor game overall. He was very suspect defensively.
I think that's one of the reasons why Garnacho came on. The manager was
Yeah.
targeting Trent.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely. I think that's exactly what it was. And then yeah, you have to wonder as well if with Trent obviously speculation around his future and that was his mind even there on the game fully.
Apparently, Trent is being offered a 5-year contract at Liverpool
Hmm.
with, is it 78 million or something over across the 5 years to
Oh
stay at the
wow.
club.
But I mean,
That's amazing.
yeah. yeah. But I mean, for me, like objectively speaking, like he's 26 now. He's achieved all he can in England, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if he moves to Real Madrid.
I believe, and I think Donny has alluded to it there in the comments, that Ruben Amorim in his post-match interview has said it's hard not to get really mad, and he's
Yeah.
disappointed with the Liverpool draw. I think,
Hmm.
is he alluding to the fact that United pulled out a performance today in a big game
Hmm.
against better rivals, but have not been able to do that in other games, and that's what's angering
Hmm.
him? And he's justifiably angry at that. If
Yeah.
players are getting up for certain games and not
Hmm.
getting up for games against lesser opponents, because yeah, we've beaten City and we've almost beaten Liverpool at Anfield. We've got a draw out of it. Yet we were horrendous against Bournemouth and Wolves
Hmm.
and Newcastle.
Yeah.
So if the manager is frustrated with players only getting up for certain games, then I'm totally with him on that.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm going to look at the positives because under the previous regime, we couldn't get up for the big games.
But what I do like this from a manager though,
Yeah.
because when we've got a result, you don't want the manager praising everybody, saying how brilliant
No,
you
you
are.
don't. You don't want them getting too carried away. And the fact that he's pissed off, that's a good sign. It's a sign of a good manager. And I think the rest of it over time will sort itself out. So this is like a key test for me. It shows something that you can turn up against the big games and you understand what comes with that and in the aftermath. So it's a very good sign that we're stepping up against the bigger opponents. And then as for the lesser ones or quote unquote lesser ones, as with personnel changes and whatnot, it will come. It will come. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest.
Yeah, if this is what we're doing at Anfield without signing anybody,
Yeah,
if this is what we're doing at the Etihad without signing anybody, then I can't wait for Amorim to bring in players that fit his system.
absolutely. I mean, if you want to use Liverpool as an example on the clock when he first came, when he was working with the likes of Adam Lallana and those guys, you could see what he was trying to implement, but then there was games that would just bypass them because he didn't have the tools, um, and they would often lose games that they should have won. In fact, and I feel like we're in that sort of stage now. So things like this give me confidence. Though, had we lost today, it would have been a
Yeah,
different story.
yeah. As you said earlier, what a difference one game can make
Yep.
to the way you view things.
Hmm.
I can't wait to watch commentary cam once we're done here. It seems like there's a bit of drama between Neville and Carragher during the game. They always do this guy whenever Liverpool play United. They always have them two
Yeah, yeah. I
together.
saw the little clip on Twitter earlier in the day when Cara was shuffling the snow off the pitch and Gary was trying to put it back on.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently,
Yeah.
Neville was despair at
I'm
the
actually really looking forward to catching up on that. Actually, I've come to really appreciate the way Cara breaks down the games, especially when it comes to us as well. He's quite good with his analytics. Um, he did it last
yeah.
week as well, and it was brilliant.
I see when these two are arguing and
Yeah,
analysing United. I actually usually agree more with Carragher than
more with
Neville, to be
Carragher.
honest.
Yeah, same. I feel disgusting saying it, but I've
Mm.
started to like him. Uh,
Apparently, Neville was absolutely dejected when Maguire put that over the crossbar because I think he was
yeah,
getting
yeah.
ready to celebrate in Carragher's face.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and based on what Cara was saying as well about our wing backs and the positions they should be taking up, it was very interesting actually because Inter Milan played the other day, and highlights of that showed basically what Carragher was talking about in terms of how wing backs should be operating and how they should attack the ball in the final third and what they were doing, and it was it was very interesting doing the comparison when you've been shown exactly what he was talking about as well. And going forward, when we get some new profile of players in, that's what I expect from our lot as well.
The headline here says one of the games of the season, Man United hold Liverpool in pulsating encounter.
Mm.
Would you go that far? Do you think it was one of the best games of the season?
I mean, as a United fan, yeah, I'd say so. On the whole, I'm not so sure, but yeah, I mean, obviously the atmosphere and yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm probably with Dan because yeah, it was
Yeah.
exciting, wasn't it? Because usually in the second half of games, you're trying to slow things down, and right up until the last minute, you think, oh, anything could happen. It could go either way. So yeah, probably one of the best games of the season.
And just to put the brakes on our disappointment that Maguire didn't score,
Mm.
there was a chance that Xerxes was
It,
offside. So
it could have been offside. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how gutting would have been to
Oh,
celebrate
listen,
the winner and
that
then be
yeah,
chalked off.
that would have been devastating. I think that would have been worse. Had it gone in and then given offside, that would have been
Yeah, it was so
would
tight.
have
It
been
was
worse.
really close. You wouldn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what they would have given there.
Hmm.
Because they still don't have this semi-automated technology implemented yet in the Premier League, which is a
No.
fucking joke.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with that result and crucially the performance.
Yep.
Um, so many good performers on the day. Yes, we mentioned that Delict was disappointing and so was Hoyland, but for me, um, I would say Menu, Ugarte, Bruno, Martinez, especially for the goal, Maguire, Ahmad,
Hmm.
Diallo, and Mazrahi all had good games. And
Yep.
it's been a long time since we've been able to say that. That even in the City game which we won, I don't
Hmm.
think there was 6 or 7 players who played well in that game.
No.
So this, in a strange way, even though we didn't win, gives me more confidence.
Oh, definitely. Overall, as a performance, I preferred this one to the City one because the City one, like I say, I felt like they kind of capitulated. It was a mess of their own making.
yeah,
Whereas this, we fully
yeah,
deserved every bit of this. You know.
yeah. It was the Mateus Nunes calamity show at the end of that
Yeah,
game.
that's absolutely what it was. It was just out of nowhere. They just lost their minds.
Yeah, and so Danny here, he's talking about Amorim's post-match interview. He says he isn't
Hmm.
happy with their attitude and
Yeah.
application transpired in other games compared to this.
Mm.
He is happy for the performance, but not the result. Yeah, that's great too. I want to see a manager
Yeah, yeah.
have
You
the
want
have
you
the.
want them fired up. Yeah,
I want the
absolutely.
manager to have the ambition to win at Anfield and not be
Yeah,
satisfied with the draw. I like
yeah,
hearing
yeah.
that too.
And then if we
Uh,
does get a victory, I want him to critique that too on how we
yeah,
can win more comfortably.
yeah.
That needs to be
Let's.
the levels.
I don't. You might have seen this from the 80s when Ferguson was manager of Aberdeen. I think they
Yeah.
beat Rangers 1-0 in the Scottish
Hmm.
Cup final, and he tore into them. They just won
Mm.
the FA Cup, and he's saying how crap they were and how disappointed they
Hmm.
were, and called them all
Hmm.
arrogant. And that's why he
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
greatest. Because
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I remember, yeah, Paulin's got a rollicking because despite us having a two-goal cushion, he made a forward pass and gave possession away,
yeah,
and he was
yeah.
pissed, and he just had a proper go at him in the dressing room.
And Danny says, and Amorim said he is confused as to why they can play like this in one game and not the other. Bruno
Mm,
said the same thing, but Amorim said this is also his responsibility. You said it right, yeah, and
yeah,
that's true as well. Do you know what? Do you know what's really good? Is the manager saying the things that the supporters are thinking after the game? But
and he's taking responsibility as
mm,
well.
yeah, I know for the most part the results haven't been good, but I
Yeah,
feel this is the right guy. This is the right
hmm,
manager. The
definitely.
it's just the things that he says and the things that he does,
Hmm.
and it gives me confidence. And yeah, I just had that feeling that he's the right guy. He just the way he carries himself just gives me
Hmm.
absolute belief in him. And just today again, he's saying the right things after the draw. You know, other managers that have been at United before, after today's performance and result, they might have said, "We played really well. We deserved to win the game, and I'm really pleased with the players today," and left it at that. Where he's like getting tore into them, yeah,
Hmm.
because he feels that we should have done more and we should be playing like this every single week. So
And he's
yeah,
right. We absolutely
yeah,
should be.
um, yeah. Danny says,
And I
yeah,
can understand his frustration because, like you say, Liverpool have been the best team in the league this season. And if you can put in a performance like that against them, there's no reason for us to be struggling against, half the teams we've
yeah,
we've dropped
and
points to.
yeah. It's fantastic that you know, yes, looking at from a tactical point of view, the number 10s were dropping in to making a midfield
Mm.
four, and the
Hmm.
back five were a flat back five today.
Yeah,
So I like that tactical tweak, and that was a smart thing to do at Anfield.
very smart, very smart.
Mm.
Because I think we discussed it before as well. Because that midfield needs work. Like I'm not comfortable with just Mainu and Ugarte in a two-man midfield. And the other options, I mean, we don't really have other options. Casemiro and Eriksen both probably need to be moved on due to age. Let's be honest.
But aside from the low block, I thought United.
Hmm.
What really pleased me is that they were an attacking threat today and creating lots of chances
Definitely.
away from home against the best team in the league.
Yeah.
So that's it. Really gives me confidence as well. We didn't just try and defend for 0-0 as we did last season.
Hmm.
We tried to win that game, even at two each in stoppage time. We weren't trying to hold on for the draw. We were going for the juggler there, and
Hmm.
that's what Man United should be doing against all opponents, no matter you know we shouldn't be ha- happy with a draw in any game. I don't care who we're playing, unless it's a second leg against Juventus away from home and we won the home game. It's okay
Hmm.
to see out the draw. But when if we're playing Liverpool Anfield and they're first in the league, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If
Yeah.
it's two each, we're in stoppage time. I want to see United try to win the game, and that's what they
Yeah.
did. So I like that. As I said, Onana, whenever
Yeah.
he
Listen, the only time that would ever change for me is if it's if it's reliant upon like a close title charge, battle or something, and there's a point or two differentiating you from your rivals, then I can understand if you want to, try and maintain. But yeah, any other time, you just go for it.
yeah, if it was like if we're in a title race with Liverpool,
Yeah.
hopefully someday soon, and it's his 36th game of the season, and we're playing away
Hmm.
at Anfield, and it's two
Yeah.
each, and you just take the ball to the corner. Then
Yeah, yeah, you just then you time waste. Like you have to be pragmatic because that was one of Arsene Wenger's biggest flaws because he always wanted to play good football, and sometimes he didn't know when to stop playing football. So there'd be times when they would continue playing and needlessly give away the ball and concede. So what could have been 3 points would turn into one, and what
yeah,
could have been 1 point turned into zero.
but of course I had to stipulate there that only if we're the team that's on top.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Only if that's what I mean. If you're chasing, then absolutely you go for it because who cares if you lose in the pursuit of trying to get all 3 points in that situation.
yeah, I think that's where Liverpool went wrong against Crystal Palace 10 years
Hmm.
ago when they were 3-0 up, and obviously they drew three each. Christian Bull, as it became known, with Dwight Gale scored those goals.
Oh, it was a magical night.
when when it went to 3-1 or even 3-2, they should take the ball to the corner and just see out the game,
Yeah,
pass the ball around the back.
exactly.
But
Absolutely.
Ben Rodgers didn't have the nous to do that.
Hmm.
But yeah, but back to today, I'm just love seeing United going for the win, even at two each in stoppage time away from home against their better rivals who are better than us.
Hmm.
Because when Van Dijk had that header straight at Onana didn't
Yeah.
lie down and take his full 9 seconds. He went
No.
sprinting out looking for somebody to play
Yeah.
the ball to.
Hmm.
Because he could see that Liverpool were there for the taking.
Definitely.
And yeah, this is not the podcast I expected to be doing, but I'm delighted to be doing it.
Yeah. Chuffed. Can't
And
ask for much more than that today.
I think there'll be more bumps between now and May. Like,
Oh, there definitely will be. There's going to be a
but
lot of teething issues.
this gives me a lot of hope going forward.
Yeah. I also hope that they marry this with potentially one or two arrivals this Jan. I think that would really get the crowd and also that dressing room going.
Yeah, I would love a left wing back or a centre forward,
Yep.
but that's that because of PSR rules. Radcliffe
Yeah.
can't put in his own cash,
Hmm.
so we need to sell to buy, and it's going to be
Yeah.
so difficult because look at Rashford, for example. There is Saudi
Yep.
interest, but that's it, and he doesn't want to go
Yeah,
there.
and he doesn't want to go to
So
Saudi, and
it's
we're
going to be
hearing
really difficult.
murmurings of like a potential loan deal to like Serie A. But then again, any talk I've heard, it's with us partially covering his wages and stuff.
Don't like that unless
Yeah,
we can get Victor Osimhen in exchange.
yeah, yeah.
That
That
would
that
be
would be a
brilliant.
very interesting move. Yeah, even if it's a loan where we send him to Napoli on loan, they cut short his loan at Galatasaray and send him to us for the remainder of the year. That would be interesting.
But I remember Wout Weghorst being alone at the Besiktas,
Besiktas, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
we had to pay them £1 million to get him out
yep.
of that loan deal.
Hmm.
So we would have to compensate Galatasaray, I think, to get
Uh, I'm not sure in this instance because I believe Napoli have a recall option, so they can
right,
recall him.
right, okay.
So I think
That's
we would negate that this time round.
yeah. If we could do a Rashford
Yeah,
Osimhen swap loan, that would be amazing. Amazing.
That would be good because obviously that would get to, essentially that would be Victor's audition. If he does well, then you make an offer in the summer. If not, then we know what it is that we need then, and to move on to other targets. And also for Marcus, it would give him a chance to raise his stocks a little bit.
He can go out there and join McTominay and
Yep, and
the,
Lukaku.
yeah. Yeah, McTominay scored again yesterday, by the way. Yeah, he's just having the time of his life out there.
Yeah.
Um, s- yeah, so pleased with how today went, and it's time for
Hmm.
the player ratings, which I'm actually looking forward to for maybe only the third time this season.
Yeah.
Maybe only the third time this season that I've actually looked forward to this.
Uh-huh.
So, so Andrew and Anna, we've said that he should have done better with the penalty. I feel if I'm
Mm.
being overcritical, you said the shot from Gakpo was actually straight at him, and it was ferocious. So I wouldn't say that was a mistake as such. We did concede two goals. He did save one in the first half with his legs. That the Can't remember who had the shot, but yeah, it was a decent save. Um, I'm going to say a five because we conceded twice. Um, Mateus de Ligt, probably our poorest performer on the day, um, was partially at fault for both goals, definitely for the second one.
Hmm.
So yeah, he sold himself for the first goal, didn't he? Diving in
Yep.
there to block Gakpo, and yeah, he didn't need to do that. Um, so I give De Ligt a three. Harry Maguire, yeah, and another competent performance from Harry Maguire, and nearly got the winner at the end. And yeah, and do you know what? It just reminded me of something else. What a poor referee Michael Oliver is. He gave a free kick to Liverpool on the edge of our area when Harry Maguire got the ball with a brilliant tackle, and then
Hmm.
Maguire shows his frustration. He gets booked. This is just Michael Oliver all over.
Yeah.
He gets the decision wrong. The defender rightfully protested that decision, and then he gets a yellow card. That's Michael Oliver every single week. He's a dreadful referee.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. At this level as well, you shouldn't be doing that kind of thing.
so I'll give Maguire a seven. Lissandro Martinez, I thought he had a couple of difficult moments at the back. There was one
Hmm.
chance with Liverpool missed, where once again his clearance just went straight to a Liverpool player on the edge of the box,
Yep.
which I was disappointed with. But having scored that brilliant goal, I'd have to give him a seven. That was a magnificent strike.
Hmm.
It was almost like, remember Patrice Evra against Bayern Munich about 10
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago, in off the underside of the bar and in
Yeah.
from a
And I mean, I think I was still celebrating that goal when
yeah,
Bayern scored at the other
yeah.
end.
I know. I think it was 22 seconds
It
we
was
held on
so
for.
short lived. It was insane.
Um, Mizrahi, another very solid performance
Yeah.
and showing off his silky skills again in the centre of the pitch on a couple of occasions. So um, I give him a seven. Ugarte, probably one of his strongest performances in the United shirt to date, and given the
Yeah.
opponent, it's even more impressive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. So, and I think I've mentioned it before. That's my number 16.
Yeah, the Roy Keane of this era. You got to
Yeah.
go that
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. I'm gonna need them to sort that out in the summer. I need my boy Ugarte to get the number 16, and Ahmad needs a more appropriate number for
Well,
himself as well.
like seven.
Right. Well, do you know what? It's been a curse, hasn't it? So I don't know if I want
Yeah,
to give the
yeah, I
seven.
know. There's that kind of apprehension about.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so Ugarte an eight, I'm going to say.
Hmm.
Menu, I thought he was superb and unlucky to be substituted
Hmm.
after
But
72
again, like
minutes.
we said, it was a tactical thing, wasn't it? So I don't think that's anything that reflects badly on him.
No, a tactical switch that worked, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, Menu would get a 7.5. Maybe got an 8 if he had stayed on for the whole game. But Diogo Dallo, very rare that I'm going to do this. I'm going to give him a 7. And that's
Mm,
maybe the highest
hmm.
score I've given for a very long time. Uh, but we had to be fair. I don't want to be accused of having an agenda against certain players. You always hear that phrase on social media on YouTube. You just have an agenda against this player and this manager or this
Hmm.
team. Um, Amad
That's
Diallo.
one of the things you can be clear of here on this channel. Like everything's, you know. fair. Objectivity is a big thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying what I see, and that's
Yeah.
it. Amad Diallo, yeah, scoring again against one of our rivals, and not the perfect performance, but he will get there.
Yeah.
Um, he's still got another few gears to go up, in my opinion, in
Hmm.
terms of his
Yeah,
output.
long way off the finished article, isn't he?
Yeah,
But yeah, the fact that he can pop up in these big games is a bonus.
yeah, and he's one of those he's opponents I think are viewing him as our main man because I
Hmm.
remember against Newcastle, he picks the ball up and there's four men coming at him.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, yeah, they put so many men on him sometimes now.
um, yeah, so I would give Diallo a 7. Rasmus, another very disappointing display
Yeah,
where he had a one-on-one with the keeper and just
should have scored.
chipped into his hands really, didn't he? I
Mm,
would just compare that. Um, and yeah, I think in the long run he's not going to be any more unless he improves massively. Just
yeah,
out of nowhere, he
out
just
of
becomes.
nowhere. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be anything more than a substitute striker for United
yeah.
once we sign someone.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just too much of a burden for a young player to be United's main man when he'd
Yep.
only scored 9 goals for Atalanta in Serie A.
Yeah,
That's just too big of an ask. You know, to, to develop at United, he needed to be second, third choice, coming on as a substitute,
absolutely.
starting
And
cup
he needed
games.
to cost like a third of what he did.
Yeah, yeah, it's just ridiculous money they paid for him.
Yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, because at
And
the time I was flabbergasted. I was thinking, I was like, all right, young potential if we get him for sort of 30, 35 million. And then when
and
I heard the actual fee, I lost my mind.
and that deal looks very dubious now. That
Yeah.
he changed agents just before the
Mm.
transfer, and who was his agent? Keith Foss, who is also Ten Hag's agent, and United paid well over the odds for that player.
But
When
I think he's changed agents again though since then.
yeah,
But this was
well, that's
but this
interesting
but this
because
was one of those conspiracies that was out there.
players usually change agents when they're about to get a move.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah, yeah. But in
yeah.
terms of like if there's like a conflict of interest, I mean, these agents own so many players and managers now. These big agencies. So yeah, it's just a part of the game, unfortunately. I would
Mhm.
like to see them play less of a role. Fergie used to have really good handling of it back in the days. I would also like to cap the amount of commission as well that these agents can make on any deal.
Yeah, I think FIFA need to introduce that law very soon
Yeah, because that's
because
that's one of the
so
issues.
much of club money is going out to agents every single summer, which is
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous the amount of money agents are making over the last 20 years, especially. It's gone through the roof.
you know. So us as fans are buying
Hmm.
tickets to games, subscribing to TV channels,
Yeah.
so we can pay people who don't even play the game. Piss off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, now we've got like family members and people who are representing the clients. And then they get a big fee as well. For instance, Erling Haaland, he had that release clause of 50 odd million. But then there was, agents fees. I think his dad made like 20 million on top of that from the deal going through. So even though on paper it was like a 55 million clause, in total it was closer to 85 million.
Yeah, and that's important because
Yeah.
when fans are saying, "Oh, they only got him for 55 million," that isn't strictly true.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. Same thing with Neymar. Neymar's moved to Barcelona. They
same.
actually skewed the numbers on that, on what it actually was.
Yeah, and same thing with the free transfer. There's no such thing because they get a big signing on fee whenever
Well,
there's a.
yeah, they get a huge signing on fee to, which especially now because it's seen as a saving, isn't it? Because you're saving on the transfer fee. So then they ask for a bigger signing on, and obviously the agent gets a bigger share as well.
Yeah, that's true. Um, so Hoyland would get a disappointing 4 from me, and Bruno
Hmm.
Fernandes, one of his strongest performances of the season, also, and obviously got the assist for the first goal,
Yeah.
and yeah, an all-round good display. As I said, he was everywhere,
Hmm.
helping out of the defense. Um, helping out his midfield colleagues, and then also getting forward as well, assisting that
Hmm.
goal, as I say, and um, yeah, he covered every blade of grass. And whether he played at number 10, and then later in the game he had to drop deeper, and he did well in that role as well. Whenever Manu came off,
Yep.
so I would get it, and I give him a 7 out of 10. And yes, the other players didn't really play long enough to give them ratings, but
Hmm.
Lenny Yarrow had a brilliant tackle that stopped the Liverpool chance.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, to come on at such a young age at Anfield in that atmosphere, under the spotlight, and you make a challenge like that. Oh, it was brilliant. Love to see that.
And Garnacho set up the winner, so
Hmm.
kudos to him. And Xerxes, no, set up the equaliser.
The
Sorry,
equaliser. It felt
yeah,
like a winner, eh?
yeah, it did. That's it. Yeah. So Garnacho set up the equaliser, and Xerxes should have set up the winner.
Yes.
Um, or as in my opinion, he should have had a go.
Yeah.
But he only played 4 minutes
Yeah,
himself.
like I don't mind the decision in passing it because actually, like positionally as well, you always try and do that. Because I remember the most devastating front three I've seen is probably MSN at Barcelona that year, and those are the kind of chances where, despite each of their individual brilliance, they would do the simple things and make the simple pass. But
But it's
yeah,
just
you
it's just
need
a
more composure.
was it shows how much you were going for it, that
Hmm.
Maguire was in the middle. We're
Yeah,
with two each
absolutely.
with two each at Anfield. It's
Yeah,
97th
yeah,
minute, and
yeah.
Maguire's up front.
Hmm. Hmm. And then I'll
um,
tell you what though, like even if Rasmus had been there, I don't know. I don't know if that's the guy I would have wanted in front.
no,
And I think that's quite telling, and which is why it's imperative that that is a position that we look at going forward.
I think as I said earlier, if I could pick two players
Yeah,
in that scenario to be playing the ball and finishing the
yeah,
move, I'd have said Bruno to be playing it across goal,
mm,
and Ahmad to be getting on
hmm,
the end of it.
yeah,
Apart from that, you'd be struggling.
yeah, yeah. You really would. You really would. That's why when you said that, I was immediately thinking. I was like, yeah, kind of shows what we're lacking up front, doesn't it? Really, we just haven't got any
Yeah.
options.
And the thing
Toothless.
is, I know we need more than just a striker, but
Yep.
see a goal scorer up top
Yeah.
that can get you wins that you don't deserve, and that's what
Yeah.
we.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he can pick up. Yeah, he can give you points. You pick up points through the course of the season.
Yeah, someone who's
Defeats
absolutely
turn to
ruthless.
draws, draws turn to wins.
Do you know? See if we got somehow got Osherman on loan
Hmm.
in January, that'll be like getting a 25-year-old Cavani. That's how big a
Yeah,
signing that would be.
and it would be
Um,
great as well because it would be like an audition,
Yeah,
without the risk.
yeah, definitely. Um,
Because we're not really losing anything based on what we have right now. And if you can get a player like that to audition, then you know what he's about, and you won't overpay. Ideally,
yeah, and if it comes off, if Rashford does well at Napoli and
yeah,
Osimhen does well at United, then we can square out a deal in the summer and get a
happy
Premier.
days. Yeah, yeah. You could, there's a deal to be had there. Then.
Right. So my final rating is for Ruben Felipe Marquez Diogo Amorim. And given the performance today, the as I said, the tactical tweaks that he made were the flat back five, the two number 10s dropping into midfield. I think that was a smart thing to do. The substitution worked as well, getting the equaliser. When
Hmm.
Garnacho came on for Menu, we were all scratching our heads, but it turned out to be the right call. So I would give him an 8 out of 10 for today. So feeling a lot more positive going into the not just the FA Cup game against Arsenal, but I fully expect us to beat Southampton now in the
Yeah.
league. And yeah, if we'd been blown away today, I probably would have said, yeah, we're going to lose to Arsenal. And will we even beat Southampton in the league, despite how poor they are?
Hmm.
That's probably what I would have been
Yeah,
saying.
it's quite a busy end to the month as well
I
because I
know,
just
I know.
checked
Yeah,
the
I don't
actual
want to get.
dates, and
Yeah, I don't want to get
it's
too far
midweek
ahead.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a Thursday night, I think.
yeah, it's Thursday
Southampton.
night against Southampton, and then Brighton on the Sunday. That's a big
Yeah,
game.
that's a
Uh,
difficult game.
yeah, yeah. Then we've got the Europa returning, so then you got Rangers, followed by Fulham, and then you round off the month. I think at
Tell
Steaua
you what,
Bucharest.
if if we are in a position where we're beating actually beating Brighton at Old Trafford,
Mm.
that that means we have turned a corner.
Hmm.
If we're getting results like that, because that's a team that we notoriously struggle against,
Yeah.
and they get results at Old Trafford. They beat us at their place as well, and
Arsenal couldn't beat them home or away this season.
yeah, and that's the type of home game that, you know, this morning that I would have expected to lose, but
Hmm.
I'm slightly more confident about it now. But if we actually, I know we're getting a few games ahead here, but if we if we went and beat Brighton at Old Trafford, that's for me that means we're in a much better place.
Yeah.
Because we we're struggling against most opponents these days, and we never beat Brighton. So if we did that, then I'd be full of hope.
Hmm.
Uh, all I really want from this season now really is to um, finish the season as strongly as possible. We want to finish in the top half, obviously, and I would like to win the Europa League.
Yeah.
If we manage to finish in the top half and win the Europa League, I'd be absolutely delighted with, given the start that we've had to the
Yeah,
season.
yeah. If you give me that option right now, I'll take it all day, all day. To
Yeah,
be honest, though, listen, if we can put in more performances like today, I don't really care about the result as much. To be honest, if we get this week in week out, or close to that, I know we'll be moving in the right
yeah,
direction.
and today also proved that all this talk of relegation was premature and
Yeah,
nonsense.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, all doom and gloom stuff. Yeah. I don't think it was a serious thing, like, because obviously there are clearly three teams that are worse off than everybody else, and that for me are the three promoted teams. Just on the fact that their budget is the smallest out of everyone in the league. There's so much money in this league. But yeah, those guys, I fully expect them to struggle. And I suppose you can never rule anything out while it's mathematically possible. But you know, I wasn't paying that too much mind. There's a difference between being in relegation form and relegation.
Definitely 100%. Yeah. And Don here says, regardless of the draw, I'm just happy we have actually gone to Anfield for the first time in 9 years, I think it is, and played to
Yeah,
win the game and not parking the bus.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
To actually take the game to them, Dan. I'm there with you.
and yeah. So since Rooney scored the winner at Anfield in January 2016, we have not won there. And between that game and this game, we only scored once at Anfield, and that
Hmm.
was Jesse Lingard's consolation in Mourinho's final game in charge.
Mm.
And we've been slapped 7-0. There's been a few nil
Yeah.
nils, and we've lost quite a few games there.
And
And
Jose would have left what in early 2019 or eight in 2019, I think.
December
He-
2018, yeah. So,
18, yeah.
so our last goal at Anfield before today was December 2018 under Mourinho,
Wow, wow. Imagine.
and then today we pulled two out of the hat, and it should have been three. So um, delighted with that, and hopefully the next time we go to Anfield in the league, we're we're actually expected to get a result. That's what I
Hmm.
want to see. I want us to be in that position.
Yeah.
We're not fearing the game. We're confident that United can go there and get at least a draw and maybe a win. Yeah, I want us to be a lot closer to them next season in the
Hmm.
league, and not
But yeah,
not
like I say, the one key difference I see with this regime opposed to the last is that in these big games, we know what it's about. You can tell that, the manager understands what these results mean. The players, it seems to be filtering through to them as well, what it means. So the rest of it, I'm hoping in time it will just sort itself out. I think it's a very, very positive sign that we can step up against the rivals and you understand what that means.
yeah, and we've done it against both our main rivals in the last month.
Yeah.
So fantastic. We got
Hmm.
now. If you were told on the 1st of December that we would get 4 points from the two games at the Etihad and Anfield, would you have believed it?
Probably not, to be honest. I would have been chuffed. I would have been absolutely chuffed with those two. It's the rest of it that would have made me cry.
The problem is that's nearly the only points we've fucking got
That's
on the
the only
Amorim.
points. Yeah, yeah.
Apart from the Everton game, of course, that and
Mhm.
maybe the draw against Ipswich, we've lost every
And
other
yeah,
game.
that bit of an anomaly in it, that one, because I tell you what, because Everton have put up a fight against a lot of the other big boys. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was interesting that we managed to put four past them.
but even Amorim that day said that we weren't value for that 4-0.
Hmm.
He felt as if the Everton played decent stuff in that game and deserved
Yeah.
more. So he wasn't getting carried away with that result. Yeah, he didn't think that it was a 4-0 game, and I think he
No.
was right about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love his observations and I agree with most of what he says
Hmm.
after games. And today
Yeah,
again,
because like you say, it's very on point with the fans, isn't it? It's
yeah,
nice when somebody's just very honest and analyzes the game in a similar way to the things that we see.
and this is why I believe that he'll get it right in the end once he gets the
Yep.
tools. Yeah, so hopefully he can get a couple of tools this month.
Yeah.
We need to do a bit of wheeling and dealing to make that happen. And then this summer, big window, of course. We want to.
Absolutely, and you have to be clever. So I'm not expecting the world in this window. I understand. The best players. It's difficult to get them in January because everyone's in their own little thing halfway through the season and doesn't want to lose anyone for the rest of the campaign. So that's fair enough. But yeah, one or two smart signings, maybe loans. Yeah, I just hope they explore all options.
Okay, everybody, please smash a like on the video if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, if that's still a thing, or on Apple. Um, and follow us on Twitter at Glory Glory Pod, or on Instagram, Glory Glory Pod as well. And I think we're on Blue Sky now too. So give us a wee follow over there. And Bruce, it's been a pleasure as always.
Absolutely, and hopefully the next time I speak to you will be in the next round of the FA Cup.
Definitely, we will be, no doubt about it. All right,
Take
I'll see
care.
you later.